What's going on, you guys? It is your boy Matt Talks Films, and I am back with another video, and I'm back with another review. And this time I am talking about the newest dark rom-com of the year. I am talking about The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, and it's also directed by Christopher Borgli. Now, I can't wait to talk about this film. I have a lot to say, and it's a very thought-provoking film. But before I get into The Drama, let me go on a quick preamble because it's been about 14 days, maybe even 15 days since you last seen me reviewing Project Hail Mary. Now, if you've been coming back to this channel every week, every 2 weeks, I love you. Thank you for coming. Stick around because I'm telling you, this is going to be a great channel. This is going to be a great community that I build. But if you saw that video, I was like, man, I'm going to be reviewing new release after new release every week. There's not going to be any breaks. Well, there was a 2-week break. Now, I swear to God, I have a good excuse because I was out there trying to better myself. I was doing my little boxing Muay Thai training at my local MMA gym, Precision MMA, and I got the flu. Or at least that's where I think I got it because I was bedridden for about 2 to 3 days. It sucked. And when I was bedridden for 2 to 3 days, I couldn't do anything. But after that, I was filled with mucus. It was disgusting. It was gross. I could barely talk. And thank God I can talk now without coughing or goddamn sneezing. So I'm back. And I'm ready to talk about film. And my biggest regret with The Drama is I didn't get a chance to see it when it first came out. And I didn't get a chance to review it when it first came out. But luckily, hopefully, most people have seen it by now. But I will say this. I wish I saw it with a packed crowd because, man, I can't imagine how fun this film was with a packed crowd. Now, The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, is not the only film they're going to be in this year. They're going to be in Dune 3 together. Can't wait for that as well. But if you want to hear my full thoughts and opinions about The Drama, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe right here, right now on Matt Talks Films. And follow me over at Matt Talks Films, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter for more short-form content like this. Now, let's get into The Drama because there's a lot to be said here. First and foremost, let me tell you what The Drama is about. So this film has one of the most interesting premises I've seen in a while, super thought-provoking, and honestly very applicable to probably where a lot of people are at, especially when you consider a lot of the tragedies that America faces daily, pretty much. The Drama has a very thought-provoking premise. It's honestly one of the best premises I've seen in the past 2 years. Just very entertaining and very thought-provoking. This film follows two people, both in a relationship, about to get married the week this film takes place. It follows Emma Harwood and Charlie Thompson. Emma Harwood is played by Zendaya. Charlie Thompson is played by Robert Pattinson. They are a happily engaged couple. They've been dating, engaged for about 2 to 3 years. Except the week they're about to get married, they are put to the test by an unexpected truth that is said by Emma. While they're out wine tasting, food tasting for the meals and drinks they want to serve at their wedding, they get into a quick game with their friends that details what's the worst thing they've ever done. And Emma says something that is so bizarre and unexpected that it throws a wrench into everything. Not only her relationship with her soon-to-be husband, but with her best friends. And that's what this film is about. Now, since we are a week removed from this film, so I'm going to do you guys the honors. In case you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to give you guys a quick spoiler-free review because the rest of this video is going to be filled with spoilers. So, what did I think about this film? If I had to give it a rating, which I did on Letterboxd already, at Matty G's on Letterboxd, capital M, not capital anymore, A-T-T-Y, capital G, not capital anymore, Z. Matty G's on Letterboxd. Follow me there for reviews daily almost. But I gave this film a 4 out of 5. To be quite honest with you though, part of me is disappointed because for a lot of this film, I was like, for sure, for the rest of this year, this is going to be one of the best films to come out this year. Now, I'm expecting a really great year of film. But if this year is underwhelming, then this film is probably still going to be a top 10 of the year. But it's just a 4 out of 5 because I do think the ending doesn't fully land, and I do think the ending is a bit predictable. Now, predictable might be unfair because they are setting up the ending from the get-go. And I'm not going to say how yet, but they're setting up the ending from the get-go. I will say this in my non-spoiler review. It's a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, maybe a 78, 82 out of 100. I really enjoyed it that much. I thought the directing by Christophe Borgli was incredible. Like, the editing was great. Visually, this film was great. The way he gives the audience this film narratively and visually is really astonishing. Thought-provoking premise, really makes you think, and really fills you with wonder and intrigue of how you would react if you were in that person's shoes that receives this news when you're about to marry the person that gives you this unreal truth. I thought the performances were great. I thought Zendaya was really, really, really great. Honestly, maybe the best performance of her career. We'll get into that here. I thought Robert Pattinson compliments her really good. I thought the chemistry they had together was really good. And I thought how his character handles the news was exceptional and honestly extremely realistic. And that is bravo to him and kudos to the screenplay. I also thought the person that stole this film was Alana Hayim, who was great here. We'll talk about her more. I thought the performances were great. I thought the filmmaking was great. I thought the screenplay was great. I wish the film was a little bit more substantive, or at least convincingly so. And I wish the ending wasn't so predictable, or at least the ending landed a little bit better, but it didn't for me. Overall, 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 78, 82 out of 100. I really enjoyed this film. If it wasn't for the ending, and if it wasn't for the film not being convincingly substantive, I think this would be like 4.5 out of 5 at least. So the drama, that's my non-spoiler review. Now let's get into spoilers. From here on out, spoilers. Consider yourself warned. Now, where do I start? What's the major takeaway from the drama for me personally? I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Despite it posing a very thought-provoking question, I found the film's major theme to be something along the lines of forgive your loved one's past, especially if they are honest about it, and be happy with who they have become. Or, what truly makes a bad person? Which are fine themes, but in my opinion, I wish this film was a little bit more substantive, or at least clear on what they were trying to go for. Because I'm not too certain on what Christoph Borgli and company were trying to convincingly say. I feel like there was a slight bit of incoherence, but I did think the themes that were obvious to me did work, and it made me think, like, what really makes a bad person? The person that thinks about doing something and doesn't follow through with it, or the person that actually does it? So what is the big secret in this film? Well, Emma Hardwood, played by Zendaya, they're out wine tasting, food testing for their upcoming wedding with their best friends, Mike and Rachel, and they get into a game of what's the worst thing you've ever done. Mike goes first. Mike's worst thing he's ever done is he used his ex-girlfriend as a shield, so he didn't get bit by a dog. Rachel, she locked a special needs kid in a closet for about a day. Charlie, he cyberbullied a kid into moving, allegedly. And then Emma, she's comfortable with her partner, she's comfortable with her best friends. She announces drunkenly that she planned a school shooting, a mass shooting at the age of 15. She didn't go through with it. And the reason why she's deaf in one ear is because she was practicing shooting her rifle in the woods and she popped her eardrum. That's the big secret. The week of the wedding. Huge news to drop. The reactions that we see around the table there are hilarious. We see Mike, who's dumbfounded but ready for the tea, as they might say. We see Rachel, who is offended by this secret that she just got told. And then we see Charlie, Emma's soon-to-be husband, who can't believe it. He's filled with laughter, but he's also dumbfounded and can't believe that his partner that he's about to marry just told him that and lied to him about her deaf ear, because she told Charlie that she was born with one ear being deaf. So not only was Charlie lied to, he now doesn't know who he's really marrying, or that's what he's thinking. This person that I thought I knew might be a psychopath and might be a bad person. And then we see Rachel, whose cousin got paralyzed in a school shooting. And Rachel starts to make it about her. She starts to get offended. And we see this big explosion at dinner where Emma starts to throw up. And the dinner abruptly ends. And seemingly a friendship is broken. And seemingly the soon-to-be newlyweds are on the rocks. And that's the big inciting incident. That is the big thing in this film. And I'll tell you this, I wish I saw this film with a big crowd. I know I said that earlier, but I can't imagine what this was like with a big crowd. I really can't, especially for people that didn't know this before going to the film. Sadly, I have Twitter, and sadly, I don't know if I follow TMZ, but it came up on my timeline. A mother of a mass shooting was offended by this film's premise, and I saw that pop on my Twitter timeline, so I put two and two together. So I kind of knew what the big secret was going to be. But even with knowing the secret heading to the film, I found the way that I was handed the secret by the filmmaker, by the screenplay writers of this film. I was baffled and I was ready for the chaos to take place in this film. And honestly, I think what Emma goes through and what she went through as a 15-year-old, especially being an outcast, in her eyes, overweight teenager, it's very applicable and relatable to some people, especially in America, considering how much mass shootings and school shootings especially are normalized. There are seemingly school shootings and mass shootings every day or at least every week. So you have to imagine there have been people in America that have planned mass shootings and didn't go through with it, whether it's fate or whether it's a change of mind or whether they finally decided that that's not what they should do. And that's what her character is. And it's funny. Obviously, if you are Charlie and you find out this news the week of the wedding, you are taken aback. You just are. It's going to be on your mind. You're going to want to ask questions. That is for sure. And I think Robert Pattinson detailing and showing us how his character is feeling, he does a great job. That's without a doubt. But man, I know she was drunk, and I know she probably didn't want to say that, and she didn't even want to mention that was a thing in her past. I do think it speaks to how much she cared or loved for these people in this room, whether it's Mike, whether it's Rachel, who's going to be her maid of honor, or whether it's her soon-to-be husband, Charlie, that she was able to tell this story. Now, she didn't give much context. She just said that she planned a school shooting, almost went through with it, and she didn't. Now, when you find out why she didn't do it, and you start to feel this maybe maternal or happy feeling for Emma that she didn't go through with it, and she actually had this moment in her life where another mass shooting took place and she didn't go through with it. You feel happy that she saw the light. And even though she didn't, the reason why she didn't do it is because there was another mass shooting that took place the week that she was going to do it. And the kid in her class died in that mass shooting. You really feel for her because she saw the light. She became an advocate for gun safety and gun control. And the people that were bullying her really changed their ways after losing their classmate. And they really started to see Emma for who she is. And I thought that was really something else. And I really think that was great storytelling because even though Emma planned a fucked up thing, even though she shouldn't have revealed this secret, she probably should have kept this deep, deep down, you start to sympathize with Emma. You're like, hey, listen, you did a fucked up thing. You thought about a fucked up thing, but you didn't go through with it. Even though you understand how Charlie feels, even though you understand how Rachel feels, even though you understand how Mike feels, I started to sympathize with Emma the most, and I think Rachel in particular handled this situation ridiculously so. Now, Charlie, on the other hand, he's about to marry Emma. She lied to him. She's not the person he thought she was. So you understand why he's kind of going through this crisis. But other than that, Rachel ridiculously makes this about herself and handles the whole situation ridiculously. Now let's get into a little bit more. Sorry about the rambling, but I had to let you guys know how I felt about that situation. Now, let me know in the comments what you would do if you were Charlie Thompson, aka Robert Pattinson. Would you still marry Emma? Would you? She drops this huge truth on you, tells you that she planned a school shooting at the age of 15, didn't go through with it. Would you still marry her? I think I still would. Now, if Emma is still Zendaya, of course I would. But if I love someone that much and they were comfortable telling me something like this and they told me how they changed, I think I would be happy with the person they became. And I think I would be happy that I'm now in love with that person and about to marry that person. Of course, I would have to ask questions like Charlie does, but I don't know if I would be as caught up on the whole situation as Charlie. Now, he was worried about external forces and external presences, about how this might reflect on his character, as we see in the film. But I think it's a very interesting, thought provoking question. What would you do if you were Charlie Thompson? Would you still marry Emma, or would you call it quits? Let me know. What would you do if you were Rachel or Mike? Would you still be friends with Emma? Interesting stuff. I love when films make you think like this. I really loved seeing Robert Pattinson perform as Charlie. He's stuck in the dilemma of, I don't even know you like I thought I did, slash, I felt like I was lied to, and I'm now about to marry a psychopath. We see that through a whole bunch of different past experiences that I experienced with Emma, where she's yelling at a car in traffic after the car almost hit them, and there's a gun coffee mug in the cabinet he throws out. He is completely overthinking the situation while also kind of treating it realistically. Like, I think a lot of dudes will react how Charlie initially reacts. I really just enjoyed watching Zendaya and Robert Pattinson perform after the big reveal. Great chemistry, but also when they're at odds with each other, when they're uncomfortable with each other, when Zendaya is telling him the full background and the full context of that story, I found that to be completely entertaining, and I was enamored with the whole situation. I also found what his character did out of confusion and depression almost worse than what Zendaya's character even did. In case you didn't know, Charlie pretty much cheats on Zendaya the day before the wedding, with his coworker. And by the way, I love her. Haley Benton Gates. She was in Mario Supreme Challengers. She was even in The Moment, the Charlie XCX film. She was one of the best parts, if not the best part about the film. Not only do I think she's hot, I think she's a really good actress, and I really enjoyed her in this movie as the coworker Charlie almost fucks. And I thought they were about to fuck, but Charlie, thank God, pussied out, for lack of better words, and he doesn't have sex with Misha. But I thought that whole scenario of him almost messing with Misha because he was sad and depressed about the whole situation was almost as bad as Zendaya doing what she almost did. What makes a bad person? Truly, I there's a lot of things that pose that question in this film. Now, the person I think stole the show here, I thought Zendaya was great. I think she gives the best performance of her career. I really think that. We'll get into that a little bit more. And I think Robert Pattinson is great, as always, one of the best working performers and actors in the world of film right now. But Alana Hayim steals the show. What a performance. I haven't hated a supporting character like this in a while. I hated Alana Hayim. She infuriated me. She made it all about herself. She made it all about her cousin, who she's not even really close with, as we get from the cousin, with that great scene with the cousin and Robert Pattinson on the street. I love that scene. Really great. Robert Pattinson confronting the cousin in the wheelchair, asking if it's actually her, and putting his hand on her shoulder kind of aggressively, and not trying to tell the cousin why she got called to Alana Hayim's character's office, but he's like, hey, I think you'd really like Emma. I like that scene a lot. But Alana Hayim is great. She makes you hate her, especially when she shows up at the wedding when you didn't think she was actually going to come anyway, because she was so upset about the situation. But in my opinion, she makes the situation about herself ridiculously so. Not only do we see her being a bitch to start the movie without even knowing Emma's secret, but she makes Emma's secret all about herself and her cousin she's not even close with. It's completely selfish, and the way she reacts is absurd. She stops showing up at Emma's job to help Emma out. She puts Emma in a weird situation the week of her wedding where she's not even sure if her maid of honor is going to show up. And then she has the audacity to give a passive aggressive ass speech at Emma's wedding. I was infuriated with Alana Hayim's character. Kudos to the writing and kudos to Alana Hayim. Anyone asking why she's in so many PJ films, anyone curious about her acting chops, well, look no further than to this film, because she's great in this film, and to me, she steals the show. I think she is terrific. I haven't hated a supporting character like this in a while. I loved Alana Hayim's character in this film. I can't wait to see her in more things. And hopefully PTA keeps on putting her in films because seemingly upsets people. Seemingly she's wrongfully like put on a pedestal for her looks, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think she's ugly at all, which who am I to say who's ugly, who's hot? But I think she's pretty attractive, and I think she has a great cinematic presence, and I think she's a pretty goddamn good actress. So I like Alana Hayam. So shout out to her. She's really great. I want to talk about Zendaya's performance in this film because it's super funny. Like I know I kind of addressed it a little bit, but her being able to tell her soon to be husband and her friends the situation really shows how much she cares for these people. And I really like how her performance was in this film after the big secret was revealed. She was filled with stress. Like the photo shoot they had after the next day, where her and Charlie barely look like they're about to get married this week. Even the photographer's like, "Are you guys okay? Like, pretend you guys are getting married this week because you are." And I love that sequence, but I love when she's explaining the story of why she didn't go through with it and how the people that she didn't like and the people that were bullying her kind of became her friends and kind of like put her on this pedestal to be the voice of gun advocacy and gun control in her community for her high school. I really enjoyed that. And yes, that's a lot due to Zendaya's performance because she perfectly conveys the emotions that her character is asked to give. But man, the filmmaking and the editing and narratively, how this story is given to you as an audience is really great. Not only do we get sequences that feature Charlie with the younger version of Emma, like walking in the park, and we have this look on his face, like from Charlie, where he's not even sure who he's really dating. Is he dating Emma, who's now a different person than her 15-year-old self, or is he still dating that psychopath who's 15 still? I like those sequences. Great choices by the director, by the filmmaker. But I also love the sequences of Zendaya just like throwing up and getting super emotional about what happened in her past, and she kind of has to dig up that past self and explain why and what happened to keep her marriage or her soon to be marriage alive. I really enjoyed her at the wedding when she has to hear Alana Hayam's character give her maid of honor speech and how much that affects her. I really loved her performance when she finds out Charlie cheated on her like a day or two ago before the wedding. He didn't actually fuck her, but he was about to fuck her. He kissed her, ripped off her shirt. By the way, I love that line in this film where Misha's character, played by Haley Benton Gates, gets her shirt ripped off by Charlie in a passionate way, and Charlie doesn't go through with it. And Misha says, "I can't believe you fucking ripped open my shirt." And she walks out of the room. Really great deadpan dark comedy stuff. Really good. Really, really, really good. I think Zendaya's great because the best performance of her career. I love the emotion she conveyed. She has a great cinematic presence, and first and foremost, not to sexualize her, not to talk about her how she looks and her beauty, but I would be remiss not to because a lot of the films, I'm trying to put this the right way, like the Spider-Man films, a couple other films, they don't show Zendaya's true beauty. I want to keep it a stack. Zendaya is one of the most beautiful people in the world of film. Like, she is beautiful. Every time you see her on a red carpet, anytime you see her on their interviews, she is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. A filmmaker finally takes advantage of her natural beauty, finally takes advantage of her beauty and uses it for cinematic presence because Zendaya has a perfect cinematic presence because of her beauty and her acting prowess. And this film takes full advantage of that. Zendaya is the best she's ever looked on screen, and also she gets the best performance of her career in this film. So Zendaya, rave, rave, rave reviews from me. Rave praise from me. Robert Pattinson, one of the best working actors in the world from right now. And I think he gives a great performance here, but I think you are easily the second or first best performance in this film alongside Alana Hayam. Zendaya, can't sing your praises more. Tremendous performance. Great, great stuff from you. This is exactly what I wanted to see from Zendaya. This is exactly how I want to see Zendaya's beauty used and utilized. I want to see her cinematic presence at play, and then I want to see her do something different. And that's what she does in this film. She does something different. Her beauty is one of the first and forefront things in this film, and her acting skills. She is tremendous in this film. I want to see Zendaya in more stuff like this. She is great. And Robert Pattinson's in this film. He gives a great performance, but in my opinion, it's Alana Haim and Zendaya, the two best performances in this film, and you can argue who gives a better performance. I think probably Zendaya and then Alana Haim because Zendaya has more screen time, but Zendaya is great. And shout out to the young Emma actress. There was a scene in this movie where I almost cried. She does a great job. Jordan Curet. There's a sequence in this film where she is faced with her bully. One of the main reasons why she was going to do this mass shooting in the first place. The mass shooting that takes place that week affects the class dearly, affects the school dearly. They go into this gym class and they do exercise and they're told to walk around and then stop in place. She's face to face with the bully and young Emma starts to cry. And so does the bully, and the bully embraces her. It's terrific acting, great storytelling, great acting by young Emma. She was great in this movie. Shout out to Jordan Curet. She is great, 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 great. Great. So I feel like I praised and talked about all the performances I can. Let's talk about the filmmaking. Last but not least, I found the filmmaking and the stylistic vision of this film to be incredible and great to look at. The editing is amazing. The way the story and main conflict is handed to us as an audience is brilliantly done. The inciting incident is great. The climax, which is the wedding, which is the maid of honor speech, when we find out, not we, but when Emma finds out Charlie cheated on her pretty much. Great, great, great stuff. Great stuff. The father's speech at the wedding, Emma's dad, talking about how she was such a great child and how she was such a great young person when it came to gun advocacy, and how the gun mysteriously disappeared that week when she got promoted to the head of the gun advocacy group at her school. That was great. The inciting incident and the climax is done really, really great. I have to give kudos to Christoph Borgli. He is tremendous here for the most part. I love that this film does a great job with its tone changes. It's funny and knew when to get serious, and most importantly, it's insanely thought-provoking. Borgli, shout out to him. He really creates a film that will stick with you. Visually and narratively, he kills it. The editing is absurd. How we go from surrealistic to the past, to the present, to how a character is feeling but not saying. Great, 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 great stuff. And not only that, he brings the best out of a great cast. Alana Haim, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya. I mean, a plethora of other actors as well. Mabadu, Zoe Winters, Haley Benton Gates, underrated actors, and he brings the best out of all of them. Shout out to Christoph Borgli. Really, 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 really great stuff. Now, I called this ending of the film predictable, and that might be unfair, considering they were setting up the ending the whole film. In case you didn't know, how we get introduced to Emma and Charlie. We get to see their first interaction. They're both in a coffee shop. Charlie sees her from across the room. She walks away for a second. He goes over there, takes a picture of her book, and he tries to act like he's read this book. So he goes back up to her, and he's talking to her, but she can't hear him. That's when we find out that she is deaf in one ear because she's listening to music in the other. And Emma finally realizes that she's being talked to by Charlie, and she takes out her other earphone. She says, "I'm deaf in one ear. That's why I couldn't hear you." He's like, "Oh." And then I guess this weird, cute, awkward interaction with them. And then Emma's like, "Would you like to start over?" And then they start over. Leads to a second date. Leads to engagement. Leads to a wedding. And we also see the second iteration of that after Charlie finds out the news. And he keeps on talking about it, he keeps on asking questions, and Emma doesn't want to talk about it anymore. It's affecting her emotionally. And she's like, "You want to start over?" And they try to do this cute little start over thing in the house, which leads to Charlie saying, "This is not going to work. I'm going to keep on thinking about it." And then that leads to Emma talking about the incident more and more and more. And then we get the third iteration of that. The wedding goes wrong. Charlie gets punched in the face by Misha's boyfriend. Charlie gives an embarrassing speech that is so uncomfortable to sit through. That is great as well. And then we get what is also built up in the film, where at one point in the film, Charlie's like, "Why don't we go to the diner after? We take pictures in our suit and our dress." It's really cute. It's kind of like what celebs do after winning an award. It's either Charlie or Emma who proposed that. I forget what. But obviously, Charlie and Emma go their separate ways. Charlie goes to the diner first, bloody nose, horrible suit. He orders like a cheeseburger and a Diet Coke or something like that. And then Emma walks in. Wet dress. She ran off after Charlie's speech and after he got punched. She walks into the diner. Charlie says hi to her. She doesn't say hi to him. And then she sits down and she's like, "Do you want to start over?" Or she doesn't say that, but they just act like they're starting over. It's been set up the entire film. And as soon as he goes to the diner, I say audibly, since I was like one of 5 people in the audience, I was sitting in the back row, which no one was near me. I was like, "Let's start over." That's literally what I said. And that's what happens. So it's a predictable ending. Not sure the ending really worked for me, but they were setting up the entire film, so it's good filmmaking, good storytelling, but I don't think the ending really worked for me. And I do wish that the story was more substantive. I understood the majority of the themes, what makes a bad person, forgive your loved one's past, especially if they are transparent and honest with you, but what goes past that limit? There's an interesting combo had where there's a DJ at their wedding that they eventually fire, who they saw doing heroin at night. And they bring it up to the best friends the night Emma tells the truth about a secret she's been holding on for a while. Mike, Rachel, and Emma and Charlie have a conversation about should they fire their DJ, who is a heroin addict and that they've seen doing heroin. And they're conflicted on it. One person's like, I think Emma's like, we shouldn't have her at our wedding anymore if she does heroin. Mike and Rachel are like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not like you're inviting a pedo to your wedding. A pedo kills the vibe, but a heroin addict might bring up the vibe. Interesting combo because it kind of applies to Emma's character. In a way, what makes a good or bad person? And it's kind of applicable to Emma because what makes her a good person? The fact that she didn't go through with the mass shooting that she prepared at age 15 and she's seemingly a way different person now that she's about 30. Or the fact that she thought about a mass shooting, planned it thoroughly, and just because a mass shooting happened the same week, she didn't do it, which led her to being a better person. Is she still a bad person? Is she irredeemable? Really interesting stuff. So we kind of see the contrast of the heroin addicted DJ and Emma, who thought about doing something instead of doing something. Really interesting. I like how those two things compare quite a bit. So yeah, I talked about, rattle on about this film. I had a lot of fun with this film. I really wish I saw it with a big audience. Overall, like I said to start this video, 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 78, 82 out of 100. Really, really enjoyed this film. I would watch this film again in the near future. Probably wouldn't go see it in theaters because I want to see other things, but I would watch this film for sure again, maybe even multiple times. I had a lot of fun. Really appreciate how this film looked visually. Really appreciate how the story was thought-provoking and how it was handed to me as an audience member. And I really, really, really love the performances. Zendaya is amazing, gives the best performance of her career. She looks absolutely stunning as always, but finally a director is able to capture that. Robert Pattinson, one of the best working actors in the world of film. Doesn't give his best performance of all time, but man, he has some really, really, really great moments in this film. And then we have some really great supporting characters, and the best supporting performance out of all of them has to be Alana Hayim and Haley Benton Gates. Zoe Winters is also funny as a photographer in this film. She's very funny. But man, great, great, great film. A great twist. I really loved. This is like We Listen, We Don't Judge goes wrong. When there's a gameplay that says, what's the worst thing that you've ever done? Don't ever say the truth. Do what Charlie does in this film where you're like, I cyberbullied someone into moving. But also it could just be a coincidence. Do what he does. Or say what Mike says, where he's like, I freaking held my girlfriend as a shield so I didn't get bit. And listen, not a great thing to do, but also not nearly as bad as, or not nearly as controversial as planning a school shooting and not going through with it. So I love this film. Great stuff. I wish the ending was better, but man, great. Rewatchable, thought-provoking, really interesting question to bring up to your friends. Like, next time I see my friends, I'll be like, hey, one of my good friends has been in a relationship with his girlfriend for a while. Probably not a great thing to do, but I'd be like, hey, what would you do if she told you that she planned a school shooting at 15, but she didn't go through with it? I am curious to see what the reaction would be. I love seeing the chaos unfold in this film. I loved seeing how different characters reacted to certain things. Really, really enjoyed this film. I would highly recommend. Probably a great theater experience. It's probably going to be packed this weekend because of Zendaya and Robert Pattinson again, which maybe I go see with the packed crowd this weekend. Who knows? But It is your boy Matt Talks Films. If you made this far in the video, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for making this far. And follow me everywhere at Matt Talks Films, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter for more short form content like this. Now, I said I want to do new releases, talk about films, release videos every week on this channel. Now, what comes out next week? The weekly rundown. Now, I hate to break it to you guys. I will not be seeing Super Mario Galaxy movie. I thought the first one was okay, but honestly, I don't have that much nostalgia attached to Mario. I was a fan of Mario Kart. That's really about it. I did see Ready or Not Here I Come 2, which was complete dog shit. There's an MMA movie that comes out this week called Beast with Russell Crowe and Luke Hemsworth. Probably not going to waste my time to go see it. Didn't look great. Faces of Death comes out this week alongside Hamlet and Hunting Matthew Nichols. Maybe I go see Faces of Death with Barbara Ferreira and Darce Montgomery. Interesting. Might capture a good era. Maybe I see Hamlet with Riz Ahmed or Joe Ahmed. I thought it was Riz Ahmed. What the fuck? Am I living in La La Land? I thought it was Riz Ahmed or Riz Ahmed. I'm sorry. I gotta learn how to pronounce names. I'm keeping that in. But next week is Lee Cronin's The Mummy and Normal, the new assassin, seemingly, Bob Odenkirk movie. So if I don't review Hamlet or The Faces of Death, I'll probably go see one of them. But next week, I will probably have 2 films to review, which is Lee Cronin's The Mummy and Normal. So hopefully you come back next week if you like this video. Let me know if you made this far video. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. And the drama. Had a lot of fun with this film. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, I feel like if you know ball, you will like this film as well. So let me know in the comments what you felt about the drama. It is your boy, Matt Talks Films, and I'll see you on the flip side.